A little boy on his bike becomes the target of a killer. It was March 23rd, 1986.
And there's no doubt in my mind somebody, some way out there knows something about this situation.
He was just a couple blocks from his house when it happened.
Ricky Chaddock, 11 years old, was riding home from a friend's house when he stopped at this bank at 42nd and Valley. His mother got worried after about 40 minutes and went looking for him. No sign of Ricky. But she found his bike with the kickstand down, parked by the dumpster.
It was the first time he was allowed to ride that distance away from home on his bicycle. So there were plans made of the route he would take to get home and a phone call placed before he left so she would know when to expect him.
Just need that guide, need someone out there that knows that little tidbit of information that's going to lead on to a possible arrest.
Missing posters were printed and put up all over town. A special law enforcement task force worked night and day. A witness saw an older blue truck at the bank the same time as Ricky, and police even released a composite sketch of a possible suspect. However, 2 decades later, cold case investigators wonder if they spent too much time searching for that blue truck, overlooking some other clue that may have been right in front of them. Back then, Ricky's mother even pleaded with her son's captor, but still nothing.
Let my son go, or let me know where he is and I'll come and get him. He's only a little boy and has done you no harm. I love my son very much and I want him back. Please send Rick home.
8 long and sleepless days go by. Then the worst news possible for Ricky's family. On the morning of Monday, March 31st, 1986, a farmer found the boy's body in this grove of trees near 168th and Ida. Someone had choked Ricky to death.
Good kid, kind, gentle, was never any problems or anything like that, considering the fact that he was being raised in a family household where she was a single parent. I mean, sometimes they have problems, but he was just an absolute angel, very smart. To say the least, she was crushed.
Now detectives were searching for a killer who kept the boy alive somewhere in the area all week. The autopsy showed Ricky had only been dead about 12 hours. So what do you think happened within that week's time period?
The suspect, most likely, who obviously took care of him to some extent.
And what do you mean took care of him?
His clothes were clean, he appeared clean. There were signs that he had recently had a meal right before his death.
Cold case detectives today wonder if there was a religious connection. The killer took Ricky on Palm Sunday, held him during Holy Week, and strangled him on Easter Sunday.
We don't know if there's a significant value, but there very well could be. Why he would have been taken that day or murdered on Easter.
The Catholic family even held a vigil on Easter and set out Ricky's Easter basket on the church's altar. Police don't think Ricky's killer tortured him during that week in March, but his mother was, and still is today, tortured with the anguish of not knowing, of wondering what happened to her only son.
And my God, it eats at you knowing that there's been 8 days that your child is missing and you don't know what happened.
Teresa moved to another state several years after her boy's murder. She gave us this picture of herself today. 22 years later, there's still the pain and anguish of not knowing. The family wants answers.
I would only hope that in some ways they would be wishing to clear their soul of what they've done once and for all.
I just want him to stop and think. Stop and just get it off your chest. You can't ask for forgiveness, and someday you're going to face God, and if you've never asked for forgiveness, then God gets you. And then God help him. Whoever he is.
Call it teen or tween speak. If your kids are online or text messaging, you've heard it before. Most parents need a code breaker to figure out what's going on. But Scott Haugard says you better get hip and fast.
It is a legal matter.
And he ought to know. Scott spends his days working online enticement, child porn, and now cyberbullying cases for the Nebraska State Patrol. Years ago, he was handling maybe 1 a month. Now it is 2 or 3 a week.
Do you think most people think cyberbullying is a crime?
I don't think so. You get a lot of, dumbfounded looks when you knock on somebody's door as an investigator and start asking questions.
Case in point, 16-year-old Desiree Vespucci is in trouble for allegedly threatening 2 female classmates online and by phone. According to court records, she left a phone message threatening to kill the student, then went on MySpace and left this message: "She better go to a different school or stay out of my sight. I'll blank her up, straight up kill her." City Prosecutor Marty Conboy said he had no choice but to charge Vespucci as an adult with harassing and stalking 2 classmates.
More and more, what used to be after-school fights are now shootings, and what used to be just, disenfranchised or frustrated children turns into violence.
The bullying at Marlowe Mapes Old School started out mild, then got downright ugly.
Well, a lot of it was just physical insults, like "you're fat, you're ugly," but then it moved into that more, like my mom has cancer and she has since I was in junior high, so it would be insults about her and my family.
The insults came online and in person. At one point, someone stole her password and sent out messages masquerading as Marlowe.
I went through a phase when I was really depressed and I was withdrawn from everything, and I just felt like it was somehow deserved.
It took a new school and some soul searching to help Marlowe see she wasn't the problem.
The cyberbully is anybody and everybody. Because of the anonymity, you have no way of knowing.
Cyberbullying is a big enough problem. Laura Buddenberg not only wrote a chapter on it in this book, she teaches local educators how to spot it.
Now, with the click of a mouse, you can trash somebody's reputation all over town in a matter of seconds, and it leaves a digital footprint.
Buddenberg says most kids have no idea what they're doing falls under the category of cyberbullying, so we decided to test that theory.
Are you ready for a pop quiz?
Sure. Okay. With a quiz used by Boys Town.
Have you ever used information found online to tease or embarrass someone?
No.
No. Have you ever used bad language online?
Yes.
How about, have you ever sent rude or scary things to someone, even if you were just joking?
Maybe define.
Maybe a scary thing.
Maybe scary things?
Just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun.
But our students were surprised that some of their actions were considered questionable.
Oh, that makes me feel bad.
Both our expert and our investigators say don't panic. Cyberbullying in some cases boils down to poor online etiquette. But Scott Haugard says, remember this.
Intent is everything. The intent, what is said, and what our victim or the person receiving the message actually feels.